Okay, so welcome everybody again. This is Diana Gray. I'm the Community Marketing Manager for UiPath Americas. And today we're going to be starting an awareness session about a series that we're going to be starting next week. So this is the UiPath Automation Developer Associate Training Series 2025. We've had quite a few requests for this series, so we're excited to see so many people signed up. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about what this is. So I'm going to get started. Again, I'm Diana. I'm the Senior Community Marketing Manager for UiPath Community. And today we have with us Manjula, we have Rivathi, and we have Priya. And I'm going to let them explain who they are. But what I will say before they do that is that we're very excited that Manjula and Rivathi are with us from the next innings. They're partnering with us on this program, which means a lot to us. They're amazing team that helps us both with the sessions as well as career advice for you guys. So it's a really important partnership. And then Priya is with us, and Priya is a 6-time MVP this year. So you have one of the best with us here to help you getting started today. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing so that Rivathi can share some of her slides.
Hey, hi everyone. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
then if you could just introduce yourself too, Rivathi. Thanks.
Yeah, hi. Hi everyone. This is Revati. I'm from her second innings, next innings team. I head the training and returnship vertical at her second innings. It is an immense pleasure to introduce the next innings, her second innings to you all today. So, who are we and what do we do and what we stand for? That's all what I'm going to cover today. We started as a very small platform in India, Bangalore. Manjula Dharmalingam is our founder who started this platform for women, and in particular for women who had taken sabbatical break. From 2015 to 2020-25, today we are proudly associated with more than 500 Fortune 500 companies, 1,000 plus startup companies, and we provide various services, staffing solutions, hire, train, deploy models. We have a enriching community of over 60,000 participants whom we engage in various activities. One such program is this as well with the UiPath. We are also proud partners in D&I initiatives with various corporate sectors. And we are the springboard for you all for getting into your dream career. We start from our career guidance to getting you into your dream career with various stages, be it the career guidance, giving you assessments to self-assess, or the training programs, which I'll come to and give you a comprehensive layout of mentoring, giving you the connect with the corporates, with the experts in the corporates, giving you one-on-one coachings, and of course, a very beautiful point of getting you this hands-on experience with the startup companies as well. Training program and training vertical at her second innings is a quintessential part of her second innings, and our association with UiPath was one of the foremost and first partnership, I would say, which started in 2018. And here we are today. We have had 25 plus cohorts of women and 300 plus candidates whom we have trained in UiPath RPA developers. And I can proudly say many of them are in the industry, in the UiPath RPA sector itself. And I think a couple of our own community members who are like Preeti, who is in Boundaryless, and Purnima are going to be mentors for you in this series as well. Our training model, when we speak about, is completely different from what one would expect from a learning platform. Ours is more, not only we concentrate on the conceptual part of the training, with of course with 4 to 8 weeks of training, but we also give the practical hands-on experience in live projects, industry connect, and giving the confidence for the candidates with the technology, being in the IT industry, getting that knowledge and going into your dream career. We have capstone projects, we have real-time projects. We also tie up with the startups to give you that internships so that you can face interviews successfully, and also you are productive from day one of your career. Quickly, I wanted to run through what are the programs that we are going to run this coming up programs for March. The industry asked is for the full stack developers. So Java, Python, and .NET full stack programs are going to be run from March 22nd. And we also have, that is in the tech part, and in the non-tech part, we are having HR program, which is going to be like four weeks of training, 8 weeks of hands-on or real-time experience that they are going to achieve. Apart from that, here the big session of the partnership with the UiPath, we are going to provide in March, starting from 3rd of March. It's going to be a 4-week program, 8 sessions in total. Diana would be explaining in depth about this training program. So I would take this opportunity to actually thank Diana for partnering with us and giving us this platform to talk about her second needs. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you. Are you finished, Rivathi?
Yes, Diana.
Okay. So I'm going to just turn it back over to finishing introductions. Hold on just a second. So Manjula, do you just want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Diana. And thank you all for joining. It is pleasure to see all of you for our session. And welcome all. And I'm Manjula, part of the Next Innings and her second innings founder and director over here. And welcome you all and wishing you all the best for the session. And thanks, Diana, for creating the opportunity.
You're welcome. And then Priya, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, Diana. So, hello everyone. I'm Priyadarshini Estevez. You can call me Priya. I've been in the IT industry for over a decade, and I've been doing RPA for over 8 years now. And I've been awarded the UiPath Most Valuable Professional for 6 times this year. And I've been working as a RPA solution architect, and I'm an independent consultant, and I'm more passionate about learning. So, which is why I'm here to share like the knowledge that I have, so that like you can also be inspired and keep on learning.
Great. Thanks, you guys. So basically today we're just going to go through a lot of information with you. Again, please put any questions you have in chat. I'm going to just do an overview and the prerequisites that we need you to do prior to the sessions that start this Monday. We did the meet the team. We have self-paced study requirements. This is typically how we set up all of our series programs in America, and then just register for the next sessions. We'll go through that a little bit. So let me just get started with our sessions. So we really have 8 sessions, as Rivathi mentioned. This is what they are. Tomorrow, I will be posting everything today so that tomorrow I put in chat where you can find the recording. You'll also be able to find a copy of this presentation so that you have all the information in one place. So we're going to start our first week, which will start this Monday, will be the introduction to RPA in Studio. And then Tuesday, we'll be going through control flow and data manipulation. I'll go through the sessions a little bit more, but you can find everything you need on this one slide. The other thing we just wanted to make you guys aware of is that there is going to be a time change in America on March 9th. So the first week we should be fine. But if you may want to double check your calendars and everything on the 9th, because there is an hour time difference. We do move an hour forward. So, or it could be backwards. Let's see, it's spring forward, right? So I guess it's spring. We're going to move forward. So basically, the other thing I wanted to cover real quick is just certifications, and what we're going to do with that. But I wanted to cover this slide just to let you know, because I think this is really important when you're taking the developer program for automation. The associate, I think, is the cornerstone of what we do at UiPath. So one thing that you may want to know is that UiPath is a leader in this space. I typically think that when people are taking a learning path, as we're going to be going through, what they should be doing in advance is preparing themselves to take the certification, because it's such a great credential to have. So you will get a credential for finishing all the training. That is what is promised by the series. Certification you would do on your own, but we'll be addressing some questions about this again towards the later sessions. So basically the cost for this would be about $150, but it's well worth it to think about getting a certification in this area. Again, because it's a cornerstone. After the associate developer program, you would then probably look to take the professional developer program. And then after that, you stem off and take things like AI and other programs within UiPath. There's 10 certifications in all that we promote and provide to people. So if you have any questions about this as well, just want you to know that this is a conversation you should feel free to talk to us about. And the automation professional certification is multiple choice. It's drag and drop. It's 90 minutes. Again, it costs about $150. And it also comes with a practice test, recommended training, exam description. And then you would get a digital badge that you can use. You're also going to get a digital badge when you finish all the training. So again, if you have any questions about this, I just want to make sure we bring this to you up front so that you can ask these questions along the way. So if you want to contribute to building a better business world through developing enterprise automation projects, the UiPath Automation Developer Associate Training Plan is for you. So again, this is a cornerstone of what we do at UiPath. It teaches you about RPA. It teaches you about how this all works. What we want to make sure is that these are the prerequisites for the course. So you need to take the pre-training survey. All this is part of the learning path. And if you go to the session that you signed up for today, this information is all there. So you just can click on the links, go to it, make sure you take the survey. You want to get started with the Introduction to Automation course. This just will take you 1 hour prior to our start on Monday, but we want you to kind of understand, just have a very high level on the Introduction to Automation. Now, Priya is going to cover some things today as well as a bonus for you, but this is just an important thing, first step for you. And then the next thing you want to do before Monday is to also build your first automation in Studio. And this is a quick exercise. If you struggle for this, it's okay. We're going to let you know about a forum link that we have and have set up for this program. The forum is UiPath Forum, and we have a special place for everybody who is joining these sessions, this series, where you can ask any questions you have. So the whole purpose of doing this program is so that you have experts while you're going through it, while you're studying, while you're doing your self-paced exercises. If you have any problems, please just write them down, and then you're going to post them to the forum so that you can have the experts help you get through this. I think sometimes it's better to have people who are helping you along versus when you're kind of stumped and you don't know who to go to for help. And that's why we do this to begin with. So These are part of the presentation. This is what our expectations are that you'll go through and try to do before Monday's class starts. So Monday, Priya will be there. You've already met her today, but we have a team of people, and every week we'll have a different team of people. So this team will provide you with training on Monday and Wednesday. The training is 90 minutes long. What they're going to do is they're going to cover these sessions as we've already talked to you about. The first week, we're going to cover RPA and UiPath Studio. We're going to do an overview of RPA and its applications. We're going to talk about variables and data types, control flow. And then the second session, we're going to talk about data manipulation. Different people within our organization and outside of our organization have expertise in different areas. So you have different people you're going to interact with. These are typically MVPs or partners or, people who really know this curriculum. So we're bringing you the best of the best to teach you and train you and answer your questions. Again, we do this because these guys know this stuff. And they are able to help you, and they've been through it before. So we want you to feel really comfortable. This whole thing is basically to make sure that you get through this without any complications, and that you feel really comfortable that this whole group of people is here to help you, including you can help each other. So, again, the first week we're hoping to do a Menti quiz, and then, I'll just tell you the rest. So every time you see one of our sessions that you register for the next session, which you'll find on the series page, you're going to see exactly what is required for you. So week 1, session 1, we expect you to do this self-study paced curriculum. So this is going to take you 1 hour and 30 minutes to do the variable, constants, and arguments. It's going to take you 2 hours and 15 minutes to do the control flow in Studio. Week 1, session 2, we would like you to do these modules. Now you might think, I don't have enough time this week to do it. You can do this over the weekend. We're really not checking your time. This is being done on the honor system. But what it will help you to do, if you can try to get this done by the end, before the sessions on the next week, is it'll help you keep up with the class. It'll help you ask your questions in a timely manner. And it will also help you to not have too much to do to catch up on. So I highly recommend that you try to stay up with this, study, and also finish these, because again, as you go through each one of these lessons, we want you to take notes. We want you to write down your questions. We want you to be prepared. You might find that there's one person who's a mentor who you have a topic that you're taking and you're struggling, like let's say with control flow, and you know that Priya is the person who's teaching that, then you can reach directly out to her, on forum and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. Can you help me? Those are the kinds of things that you can do through the forum. And again, all this information will be available on each lesson. So I can go through all of these, but we have a team for every week. Like I said, they will go through their lessons, their sessions. You'll find all of this on the information out on the series page when you click on each session to register for it. Every session will have, its own self-paced study that we want you to keep up with. Some weeks are worse than others, but remember, it's just through 4 weeks. And then you'll have gone through this whole entire series, which is a pretty remarkable feat. And I think you'll really enjoy it. So this is week 3 is going to be a little bit more work. And you have a huge team going to help you. And then we have week 4. So again, the other things I want to mention is that you have all the information there. So let's say we're done on March 26th. You've been through all 8 sessions. What you can do is mark, oh, I didn't do the self-paced study for this or this, if you just didn't get to it, so that you're going to spend about a month finishing up everything. We want you to make sure that you do finish it up. In that time, you're still going to have access to the forum. And then after the 4 weeks of courses are done, there is additional post-work self-study assignments that you need to do. We just didn't have time to cover every single thing. And these are activities you should be able to do on your own. So we'd rather give you the time to do them and ask the questions in forum. The thing we're doing by presenting our series this way is we're trying to get you to understand, number one, we're here to help you. Number two, you can always reach out to us. And this helps you network better, and it helps you be part of our community better in the sense that you know where to go, you're utilizing those tools. This is going to be helpful when you're applying any of this. This is also going to be helpful when you're studying for your certification, when you're trying to apply any of these activities to what you're doing at home. So the whole thing is done on purpose in this whole process so that you get to know the experts, you feel comfortable, you know where the forum is, you know how to register for courses, you know how to get access to the recordings that we do, and you know how to reach out to other people to help you. So that's what we want. We want this family environment where everybody feels very comfortable on how we get through this whole process together. So again, this is a requirement in order for you to get your training badge. You must complete all of the self-paced learning from weeks 1 through 4, along with the additional post work on the next slide, or actually on the previous slide. So I just want to make sure that's really clear on what the expectations are before we start the series. Here is the information I just went through with you, which is the Associate Training Series page here. This is where you're going to find out all the how to register for each course. When you're done registering and taking that course for the day, you can go back to that series page the next day and you'll find the recording there. So once we go through the course, we then post the recording there. The developer forum link, again, is where you'll ask all your questions. And we will reiterate this every single session that we teach. We'll be putting these 2 links into the chat so that you will learn that this is where you go to do what. And then you'll also see that people will post their questions there. What's nice is you can look through those too, because you might not have thought of a question, but somebody might post something that you think would be a best practice for you to know about as well. So this way you're getting information from others as well. You might not even know it, but that should help your learning as well. So there, I'm just going to stop and I will post those 2 links into chat to see if anybody has any questions. I'm going to stop sharing. So Priya, do we have any questions? Do you know?
I've been busy on chat, Diana. There's been like a ton of activity there. People have been asking about the series. I posted them the forum thread that we talked about.
Perfect.
And
Yep.
I think also I asked them to register for all the sessions so that way you can get the recording. So people, please take the time to go ahead and register for all the 8 sessions.
Yes.
That's how you can go back and watch the recording. If you don't register, you won't get the recording. Okay. So the important thing is to register. Once you register, even if you have some emergency or a family event that you have to attend, at least you will have the registration that you can come back to the recording and watch it later.
Yes. So let's talk about this. Let's say you've gone through the first 2 weeks and all of a sudden something comes up Monday, your babysitter doesn't show up and you really wanted to take the course, but you just can't. That's fine. That's why we do what we do. So number one, you're going to get the recording because you registered for the course. You go through that just like you were listening to the class itself live. We do this on purpose to bulletproof kind of this whole system. Then you can ask any questions. You're still going to go ahead and take your self-paced training when you can. And then you can ask on the forum any questions you have. You also will get the presentation from today, so you will know exactly who the speakers are for each session. So you'll know who's doing what topic. You'll know everything about what we're doing. We're trying to make it as clear as possible. So thank you so much for keeping up with all that. I'm looking, you're a fast typer, Priya. We appreciate that. And as we go through this, you guys don't hesitate to ask these questions. It's really important we get this right from the beginning. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Priya to start with her lesson for today, and she's going to get you started.
Sure. Okay. Okay, there's a ton of questions that keeps coming up. So,
Yeah, and I'll start answering some of them.
okay. So let's focus. Oh, sorry, just hang on there. I'm trying to share my screen and I know it could be tricky. So let me move this up. I hate my Zoom controls messing up. Okay, so hang in there with me, folks. Okay, I hope y'all can see my screen. And once again, thank you for joining us. So the very first step of showing that you are here means that you're ready to learn. So thank you for that commitment. And we want to look forward to seeing you all in the community, in the forums, asking questions, because that's what makes us special, is that this community is more active. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask in this chat or in the forums, and we'll be happy to help you. Okay. And we've met the team already. So I'm glad like we met Diana, Revati, Manjula. So thank you for putting this up and giving us this opportunity. Okay. So for today's session, this is our agenda. Okay. So we're going to go from the very basics of learning what's automation and what does RPA mean here. And how does it apply to enterprises? Like how does organizations use it? And what does UiPath platform offer to help you start that career here? Okay, and then I'll help you walk through the environmental setup, make sure that you have the software installed, and I'll walk you through the studio itself so that you get to analyze like each and every panel and get comfortable with the tool. So at least over the weekend, you can play around with it, check out like a couple of buttons, like check out the couple of panels, and try your first automation even before our first session. So that'll be really nice. So I know Diana has showed you these dates, so please remember, mark your calendars for this and please sign up for these sessions, okay? Because this is what is going to take you till the end, all right? So the very first thing that we want to ask is, what is automation? So anything in our day-to-day lives, we have been using so many machines. If you look back in history, people used to use mathematics in paper, and that's how accounting was done. But once calculators were invented, that is an automation. So it helps speed up the task. So that's a tool that helps the accountants to, quickly make the calculations. The same way, computers are an automation. That's a product of automation as well. So anything that eliminates a lot of effort and that helps you along the way, that is an automation. And I know like we all have a lots of devices, so just look around you and you will realize how much automation is involved in your lives, not just necessarily like, just these, okay? And my keyboard just stopped working. Okay. So here we go. So when we talk about automation, there are different categories. When I said like look around you, there's like, physical machines around you that shows the result of automation. But when it comes to software, there are also different types of automation. So here are the categories of automation that's available within UiPath as well. So what we can do is like the robotic process automation or a simple task automation. And, you could automate an entire business process for a business unit itself, or you could use a test automation to test any single product or your automation itself. And there we apply AI in order to enhance our experience with the automation. And then comes the intense process mining, where you can like go back to your business process and check which features are a bottleneck or which ones could help you automate. So there are like different areas and avenues which you could start from automation. So now I'm going to ask you all to do a very simple question. Sorry. Trying to exit this. Hang in there for me, okay? So if y'all can go on your browser or your phone, it doesn't matter. Just go to menti.com and use this code 5309 and 5092. I'm just going to paste this on chat. Oh, where's my Zoom? The Zoom chat just vanished. Okay, there we go. So just go to this menti.com and help me answer this question. What comes to your mind when you hear the word robots? What is the very first thing that you think about when you think about robots? I want to see your all's response here. And I know this is a very interactive community. So I want to see like what is the first thing? AI, of course. Very futuristic. Absolutely. Like anything that involves like futuristic thoughts is absolutely intelligent. I love the Terminator. I would put Bumblebee as well. Nice. Efficiency. I know that's what most organizations look for, efficiency. I'm gonna give it just a second. Oh my gosh, somebody just said Elon. No way. That is so cool. I know like everybody has their own perception of robots, right? So the very first time like I heard robots, I was thinking like Terminator level, like Bumblebee or Transformers. And Optimus Prime was my favorite robot. I always name my robots Optimus Prime. So I'm pretty sure like you all have your own perceptions about robots. So whenever we think about robots, we want them to help us and make it more productive. Yes, accuracy. And solve the repetitive task. Absolutely. I love that. So these are all, the collective thoughts that we have as like what makes the robot. So today I'm going to bust a myth. When it comes to UiPath, at least like nobody thought of like a big, like a big metal structure standing next to us and doing the job. With UiPath, what I'm talking about is software robots. Okay, let's hear about like how software robots are going to help us. So I'm going to stop this poll for now. I'm going to go back to our session. Okay, and thank you for being so interactive. I'm going to come back to this again. All right. That was amazing. So what is RPA? Whenever we hear robots, like we all think of like, efficiency, like, automating repetitive tasks. So that's what like robotic process automation is also about. This is basically a software system that mimics our human action. Whenever you use your computer, what are the things that you do? You see, you capture the information visually. So you read your computer screen and then you interact using your keyboard. That's how you give inputs and you use your mouse clicks. So these are like basic actions that we do so far, like, to interact with our system. And this is our day-to-day activity. Like whenever you work in any company, that's how you use it. So what if you could mimic those actions and give you back some time? So this is just a software program that basically mimics your human action. Whatever you click, whatever you read, whatever the keyboard actions that you put in, those can be captured and given to the robot to say like, you do these manual steps for me. So that way I can focus on other like, cognitive tasks that requires my capabilities. So that's what robotic process automation is all about. So whenever you talk about the benefits of RPA, whenever a robot does the task that you could do, what happens is like the robot could always do it faster. Okay, there's this simple RPA challenge that we always talk about. We measure like who's always faster. Even if you're the fastest person typing in this world, you cannot beat a robot, because like if you can type like so fast, the robot does it less than in seconds. So that's where the increased execution speed comes in. Okay, the robot does it always like faster and also accurate. Even though it's faster, it's been given the set of rules that you define in your business, and that's what it's going to follow through. And it always helps along like any regulatory compliance, and also helps in reduction of cost, because now you're giving the human the time back to focus on other valued tasks. And these robots never take a vacation. They're going to be there 24/7, and they are very easy to scale. So you can easily add like tens or hundreds of robots depending on what your business process needs are. Okay, and let's take a look at like some of the common automation use cases. So whenever you look at like organizations, how do they use it? Every time you need to onboard an employee, you need to have like an onboarding system, and HR uses that. And like the payroll system, because everybody works and they get paid, so the payroll processing can also be automated, because that this has to happen like regularly every month or every bi-weekly, like whichever regulation or like whichever time frame that you set. Those are the rules that the robot's going to do. And like updating any client information, maintaining your backlog, or like maintaining the patient portal or inventory and accounts payable. The the use cases are endless. So think of like the use cases, what you could use for, okay? Because this is just basically mimicking your action, and that can be used as a robot by itself. So those are like task automations that could be automated. So now, just think about like, what are the client use cases? So for instance, here is a user. Before the robot came, this person would go and update information to various sources. Imagine he's getting an email and he has to open SAP, and he has to open like Workday or like 5 other systems, and he gets this information and has to upload it to an ERP tool. And he needs to make frequent calls to the backend database to collect this information from the system. And then he's able to complete the task. But what if these two steps could be automated and made as an automation? So basically, the robot runs the process request and information and keeps it ready for the next automation. And then the extraction from the database is another automation. Now the task get completed very easily. This helps in the happiness of the employee and also the efficiency of the organization. So before we dive into that, now that you know there are use cases, I would love to hear from you. What do you think are some of the common use cases that you could think about? So in your day-to-day task, we're going to use the same Mentimeter, but if you just refresh your screen, there's the next question. What are the tasks that could be automated in your day-to-day work? Just look at your everyday work. What do you do? And what are the simple tasks that you wish you had an assistant to do it for? Email automation. Absolutely. We all send like hundreds of email. And yeah, I know like everybody does this on a day-to-day basis. So that is something that you will always look for. And UI automation, we talked about test automation. So that's definitely a possibility, the UI testing. And document generation, that's very interesting because like there are many vendors that generate invoices and have to send to their clients or to their suppliers, which is where like invoicing could be there. And invoice processing could be another great opportunity. Nice. Data entry, because data entry is the very simple thing that we all like spend time on, like filling out forms. All those could be automated. SAP, that's a great example because there are different modules with SAP that could be automated in a way instead of waiting for like, minutes and minutes for a report to load. For creating ServiceNow tickets, database creation, meeting scheduling. I know I personally use that like a couple of times for sure. Update SharePoint, because like when you're working on like, cross-functional teams, there's always an important way to like interact with the other, with the other team members. So you always want to keep them updated. So you could update Jira, SharePoint, Workday, whichever one that you like. So fantastic. Now I know that you are already thinking about the task that you want to automate. So now I know that you all are ready to automate. Okay. So let's get this started. I'm not going to wait anymore. So now you know that there are use cases that you want to automate. Let's see like how we can automate that. So I know that you all have signed up to the UiPath platform. That's why you are here using the community. So within the UiPath platform, there are like several products, at least like a range of 20 or more products. From those products, I'm going to show you like just 3 core components to get you started. Okay. So the very first product that you need to know is the UiPath Studio. Okay. So think of Studio as your canvas where you paint your automation. That's where you're going to be building your automation block by block. Okay. So you design your automation using the Studio. Okay. And there's just like very less code. It's just minimal code that you would use. It's all like mostly drag and drop. All you needed to know is like which activities to use for my specific process and how do I use the layouts. So those are the kind of things that you need to know in order to build your automation. That's Studio. Okay. And this session in this series, you're going to be seeing Studio a lot. So you will get familiar with Studio by the end of the series for sure. And once you've built your automation, you need to take this and run it. Okay. So now you take the workflow that you've built and you give it to the orchestrator. So think of orchestrator as the centralized managed system that manages your robots, your robots, your assets, your any resources that you assign to your robots gets managed by the orchestrator. So your orchestrator is going to be the mastermind that's going to control the robot and the studio and everything. Okay, so now you need to execute it. You've given the package to the orchestrator, and now in order to run it, you need the assistant. Okay, so the assistant is your robot that's going to execute on that specific machine, depending on your machine or a VM, or like you can talk about like the different types of robots as well. So the execution is done using your assistant. All right. So let's get this set up, okay? So I want you all to go to cloud.uipath.com, and I want to make sure that we have this installation down right, okay? So we are going to go to this cloud.uipath.com, and I'm going to show you like how to install it, okay? Oops. So here we are. If you haven't signed up, like you're all obviously here, so you probably signed up. I would recommend like using your personal email or your business email, whichever one that you want to use for learning. Please go ahead and use that account, and you can just sign up with like any of these accounts. It allows Google, Microsoft, like LinkedIn's, SSO. So even if you're within your organization, like you could always use your single sign-on as well. So for people that are learning just for your personal experience, I would highly recommend using your personal account. That way you keep track of your learnings as well. Even though you switch companies or you switch jobs, it doesn't matter. So if you haven't signed up, like, or you could just like, like sign up using your UiPath account. I'm gonna use my Google account, so I'm just gonna like select it, and then you go ahead and it will ask you for your organization name. So you're just gonna give a name. What is the automation cloud that you want? So in my case, I'm just gonna go with Priya Test Org. That's the name that I gave. And once you've signed up, you should be on this landing screen. Can everyone give me a thumbs up? Like if you all have reached this point where you are on the automation cloud platform. Awesome. So I'm hoping like you all are here. Okay. Thank you. Once you're here, I'm going to show you how to download the studio itself. Okay. So the studio works on your Windows machine. So make sure you're on your Windows machine. And I'm going to go here, click on studio. Once you click on studio, I hope you can see this install locally button. Okay. Once you hit install locally, you can see studio for desktop. Okay. You need to click this in order to download. Once you hit download, it's a very simple installation steps. All you have to do is just go through it. It just takes like less than 5 minutes to just install and its components as well. Okay, so please feel free to do that. I'm on my Mac machine, that's why it's grayed out. Okay, so I'll show you Studio in just a second. Okay, so just gonna go here. So just make sure you click Studio, install locally, and once you have that, you're just gonna connect to your assistant and we're gonna select the Studio profile. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you Studio just about a minute. Okay, here we are. So once you go through the installation process, sometimes my system's kind of slow, so just bear with me. I guess it's just frozen. Okay, so any questions so far with the installation? Yeah, so someone asked, does it matter if we use Studio X for this class? It might be slightly different because with Studio X, you may not see like the entire, the testing or the, like things could be slightly different. But if you're on the community plan, it shouldn't be a problem getting like just Studio installed. And you could easily follow along for sure. But I would highly recommend having Studio installed. Okay, and whatever happened with my system just froze. All right, so I promise this worked right before the meeting. Okay, so once you have Studio installed, what we're gonna do is like you will see like once you just like go to home, create your brand new process, like the very first one, you will be able to see new process. Once you click that, this is how your screen will look like. It'll probably be on the lighter mode. I just had the dark mode when I took the screenshot. So when you see on this left hand side, you will see that this is the activities panel. Okay, so this is where you will find like over 300 plus activities that are the building blocks for your workflow. Okay, so these are the things that we are going to be dragging and dropping into our designer panel, where we will be making our own workflow here. Okay, so the designer panel is the one in the middle where you will be adding the activities from the right side to here. Okay, and on the left side, you also have the projects tab. I wish I could show you that. So that's where you will have all your workflows and your settings as well. And on the right side, the far right side, you would see the properties panel, which is where you would like configure, like you're basically dragging and dropping these activities, right? So you will have to make like some configurations in order to make that activity work for your specific process. So that's where the properties panel comes into play, where you can like assign any specific values to it. Okay. And I'm going to try and see. Sorry, I'm just going to stop sharing just for a second. See if I could restart.
Priya, there are a couple of questions in the chat if you can help me.
Oh yeah, can you show how to install again? Okay, so the very first thing like you want to do is go back to, oh, sorry. Hold on, I'll go back to sharing again. So once you go into the Automation Cloud portal, you will be on this home screen. There, just click on this Studio Web. It takes you to the Studio Web. And inside the Studio Web is where we are gonna like select this. So all I want you to do is just go into Studio Web, and here you would see the Install Locally button. So just hit this installer. Like once you download the Studio, then just run the installer, and it'll like prompt you for like click on next, and you can just continue with the community version, and you can just like continue installing. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, once in Studio, what do you do again? Okay, so once you have Studio, it's very simple. All we're gonna do is like sorry. All we're gonna do is like you're in the home page, so hit home, and I'm trying, I don't know, for some reason my system just froze. Let's just restart this. Okay, I'm on a VM. You guys are gonna troubleshoot with me. Okay, so please bear with me. Don't have to do these steps. Just a second.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this, sometimes you will experience your screen freezing too, or these types of things. So it's great to kind of troubleshoot as we go, so that you know that we all experience it, not just you.
Absolutely. And for the ones that are new, I don't want to confuse you with like my virtual machine. So that's why like I just stopped sharing for a second. Okay, I'm on a Mac machine, so I'm trying to connect to my Windows machine here. So someone asked a question, can we build any simple sample project for document understanding workflow? Absolutely. There are like templates that you could obviously use. So if you just go to the home screen, you will find the document understanding template. Although that's not in scope for this specific series, we are going to go to Studio for the basic process and how we are going to build a process. Okay.
Yeah, I think
So
it's important that you learn the basics first before you start working on other products, because then you'll have a really good understanding and a solid foundation. Correct, Priya?
exactly. So it's very important to know like the basics first. At least like get to know like, what are variables, like what is Studio, like what does it do and its capabilities. And that's why like we're trying to include this series for everyone, inclusive, because the audience could be like varied. Like you could be beginners, you could be like just familiar with the tool, you could be novice. So there are like different set of audience that we that come into this series. So we want to make sure that like everybody gets at least like the knowledge that they need to, get this up and running. And here we go. My installation had a bad image, so that usually doesn't happen, okay? That means my machine just got corrupted, okay? But if it happens, just click it through. It's not going to stop you, okay? At least it's still loading, all right? So like when I just like opened up my first studio automation, like it does take a while because the machine just went through some
Priya,
tough time, I guess. Yeah.
Priya, a lot of questions about Mac installation and Mac. I presume it's different from what we are handling. So if you can shed light on that as
Yeah, so like I said before, if you're using a Mac machine, I would say like get yourself a virtual environment where Windows is. So right now, I would say like the studio works well with Windows, okay? Because all of the large organizations, the enterprises, they have like Windows ecosystem. Not many of them like offer Mac at workplace, okay? You can have like Mac for your personal, but if you're at work, most of them like give Windows. That's why like Studio is inclined towards Windows, and also like many of its like compilation, the DLL. The basis of this, the framework which it's built on, is with Microsoft. So that's why like it works very well with Windows. Although with Mac, you could use like Studio Web just to build like, any type of like cross-platform task automation using Studio Web. But I highly recommend using like a virtual machine or something to get access to a Windows environment. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm on my Mac machine. For folks, this is just like extra information, not necessarily like for beginners, okay? So just to let you in on, like I would say like if you're on a Mac, just download UTM, and this is a whole different topic. Just look it up on YouTube, just download UTM, set up your virtual machine, assign like how many resources you want, and then you get access to Windows. So I downloaded my Windows image that way. Okay, I hope that helps. But I highly recommend using a Windows environment. Okay, so in this case, like this is where I have my studio installed as well. So I'm not using it on my Mac machine. This is a Windows virtual machine that I'm using. Okay, any other questions that's on the chat? Okay, so connection failed to the assistant. So as soon as you, like install, this is probably the landing page. But if you're not here, what I want you to do is like look up for UiPath Assistant. Let's troubleshoot this together. And as soon as you have it, like it will say like, okay, sign in. When you see that word sign in, mine's already connected. So if I don't connected, this is how it would look like. Okay, get started or sign in. Okay, and when I do that, like what it asks is like it's going to connect to the cloud.uipath.com. So when you do that, it's going to try to reach out to the cloud portal, and it's already signed in. So the moment you connect it, you're going to connect to the organization name that you selected previously, and you will be signed in. And in your assistant, make sure you see this green button. This just means that you're signed in and you're connected and you're licensed. Okay. If y'all are still seeing challenges, please feel free to let me know. Okay, somebody has a question. When you download Studio, there's something written. So that's again the same question. It just says that it's not compatible with Mac. Okay, you can install Studio on your Windows machine. So please remember that. What do you do after download? It says installing and then doesn't do anything. So as soon as like you install, it should have connected you to this assistant. Erica, please let me know like if you got past that point or you're still stuck there. Thank you, Surinder. I really appreciate your help. Okay, when you do the download, there's something, okay, that we answered. Okay. How difficult is the Dev Associate exam? I wouldn't say it's difficult, okay? Like it's definitely easy because like once you learn the core concepts on like what, like how to build your automation or like, like how to logically like understand like, the layouts or the variables, arguments, and, the loops and conditions. Once you know the core concepts on how to build your process automation, the associate exam is definitely going to be easy, okay? So don't think it's difficult. All right. Somebody says UiPath robot cannot be existing installation. Okay. Thank you, Surinder. That's nice. Okay, so there are like separate installers for Studio and Robot if you're doing the MSI installer, but if you're just doing it from the cloud, you should be fine. But if you're using like an older version and you're trying to install on top of it, then there might be like a compatibility issue that we might have to take it offline. Yes. So Ajay, to your question, can we change the organization after setting up? Obviously, you can. So all you have to do is just like sign out, and then you can select like which specific the URL when you put in the cloud.uipath.com, and then you can choose which organization you want to select. Okay. All right. Erica, I hope you got that installed. And when it comes to Chrome or Edge, it all depends on the preference or the performance of the site that you're trying to access to. So I would say like install the extension on both and check like which one works for you. I love Chrome and Edge, so there's no big, both work well and both have its own pros and cons. Yeah. And downgrade version. Can we continue with that? So Taufik, I think you could use that, although you might be like seeing slight differences here and there. So it shouldn't stop you because like the core concepts are still going to be the same. Okay. So even if you're using 2021, I'd say like you might want to think about upgrading for sure though.
Hey,
Okay.
Priya,
Yeah.
just want to interject something. We're getting to the 11:30 hour here,
Okay.
and
So
it's
I'll
about
just
time.
show the
But
quick demo then.
first of all, I just want to thank you for going through this. I think it's really important. But a couple of things. One is please everybody grab and copy the messages in chat. There's an amazing amount of information there. There's a lot of URLs there. This will tell you, like, if you have any additional questions, we've talked about this. We want you to go to forum and ask them there, and you'll get answers. So Priya doesn't have to keep answering all the questions in chat. If you answer there, more people can help respond to them. Just remember, you're going to sign up for all the series at once. We have the series page in the chat. We're looking forward to seeing you on Monday. Priya will be back with us next week, so she'll be there cheering us along. And then just anything else you have, the one thing the reason we had Priya do this today was so that you got a glimpse of kind of what you're going to be going through over this weekend. So you're going to go back, you're going to take the self-paced training, and you're going to see some of the same stuff that Priya went through. So I will go ahead and I'll be posting as soon as I can the video. So then you could go back if you have more questions and see that this was all in the video to begin with. So again, this is a good attempt to show you that we're always here to support you. You can look at the video, you can look at the slides we did as you're going through your self-paced training so that you can stop it and make sure that you understand it and can move forward. And then if you have any more questions, just ask them on forum and then we'll respond to those there. Does that all make sense to everybody? Hopefully. Good.
Thanks, Diana. I'll probably take like less than 3 minutes. Okay, I'm sorry we are
Oh,
over
no,
time.
you're
It
good.
seems
Yeah.
like okay. So as soon as you're in studio, just go here, create your first process, you can just name it like test one, demo, exercise one, whatever you want, and just make sure you remember where the location is. So it's going to go to your default, like, any documents or whatever folder that you've created. So always remember, when you're working on a specific business process, remember to name it correctly, use a naming convention and also a proper description of what your process is, and then you can hit create. Okay. As soon as you create, it's gonna, like, install all the dependencies and everything. And once you create your first process, it's gonna say main.xaml.com. Okay. Here I have a very simple process that I've built, and I've added a couple of packages. So we'll talk about that as we go through. If we need like any additional specific, UI automation or any SAP type of packages that you want, you can always use this manage packages button to install your packages. And I'll tell you what this packages does is like bring in the activities for any specific, activity pack that you want. Let's say like SAP or like Office 365 or like Teams or SharePoint. All of those are activities that are available under the packages. So I'm just going to run this simple process that I've already built just to show you what the automation can do. Okay. So now hands off, I'm not doing anything. And again, like my system's kind of slow. Your system's probably going to be faster and it might not run into this error. And I'm sorry that it's running into this error. I hope it just passes on. But even if you run into errors, don't be discouraged, okay? Like everybody runs into errors, even me till today. So don't feel bad. It's just gonna go. And again, I'm not typing it. I'm not opening the browser. It's just going to finance.yahoo.com. And I asked it to navigate to the crypto screen. And it's gonna grab the entire table of crypto that we see out there on the screen, and it's going to give me the value in an Excel sheet. Okay, so that's what this automation does. And whenever I run an automation, as you can see down there on the taskbar, you can see the blue is the studio, the purple is the assistant, and the green is the assistant when it's running. So that's your robot executing. So when the green is on, try to, like, limit your interaction with your computer, so that way, like, you're not like messing up with the robot's actions. And I can tell that it's finished its actions and it's back to the studio screen. Now you know that it's completed. I'm just going to click on the output tab so you can see that it's already been extracted. Okay, so in order to get my output, I'm just going to minimize this and I'll go to the projects tab. So this is where you see like at 10:34, it ran today. So I basically extracted that specific table that we saw, the crypto table, and it basically got the values. And I only needed the first 25. So I specified like what I wanted. It got all the URLs from that table. It got the Bitcoin and it got the price as of that moment. Okay. So again, think of all the different use cases that you could use this for, because all I did was like just scraping off the UI, whatever I was able to find there, get all the links and put it in an Excel. Now I could make an automation to email this to like a distribution group or like upload it to a SharePoint. Again, the possibilities are limitless. All you have to do is like think of what your process is needed. Okay, what's needed for your process. So always remember, this is your project tab. This is where we will be creating all the different like workflows, and this becomes like an area where you need to manage. Okay, so just remember your activities panel on the left, your designer panel in the center, and the properties on the right. Okay, and there's the data manager as well. This will be the resources that are in the orchestrator. So your variables, arguments like queues, assets, anything that we use, that will be here. And please go to your academy and finish up the self-paced training. Use the learning plan that's given and finish those training. And if there is an exercise at the end of your training, try to do it at least 3 times. Okay, because each time I will tell you, if it's your very first time, you will discover new things. Okay, and you will get comfortable with the software as well. So when you come to your session on Monday, you will feel more comfortable when we talk about variables or these tabs, and you will know exactly where it is. Okay, so please go ahead and sign up for your learning plan and learn it. Thanks, Diana.
Great job. Okay, everybody, we're excited that you're joining us next week. So so you should have the presentation slides and the recordings tomorrow. And in the meantime, you can use the information on chat to go find out where the learning path is. Remember, when you go to the learning path, there's 2 tabs about an inch down from the top of the page. You want to click on that second tab in order to see all the modules for your learning path. It's really easy. Just want to make sure. As a matter of fact, Priya, do you mind showing them really quick? Just to go to the learning path where how that tab is like another click.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to go to the learning plan and you're going to search down till you find automation developer associate next one.
Associate,
Yeah,
this one.
right there. And
And
then
then here
you
is
see
your
right
learning
here is
plan.
where you're going to go, the learning plan structure. And then there's your modules that you're going to start with, right? And then as you
Yeah.
go through, they're going to finish and then you'll know you've done that one. So this is your honor system plan right here for the whole session, for all the sessions that you're going to do over time as we go through all these lessons, just so you know where they all are. Okay. Thanks, Priya. So I think you guys are set. We're excited. Thank you for joining. I think this is really going to help your careers and you've got a great team. So we're looking forward to being with you guys on Monday. Have a great
And please
weekend.
use the forums, like any questions that you have posted there, and we will always like come back to it. And like anyone in this group or outside of this group will definitely help you answer that question. Okay.
Right. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.